Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another video. The Chicago Bulls have one of the top records in the Eastern Conference right now. They're on pace for their best season in a long time. They haven't made the playoffs since like 2017 with Jimmy Butler. But now they have a brilliant big 3/4. They got Zach LaVine, who's great. They got Nikola Vucevic, who's an all-star. And they also have another all-star, y'all, DeMar DeRozan. Not to mention a great point guard in LONZO Ball. But y'all, in this video, I want to talk about DeMar DeRozan because he has been one of the most underrated players in the league for almost his entire career now. But now, since he's on the Bulls, he signed with them in free agency and they're balling out and he's balling out. Everybody's just like, oh, look at DeRozan, and he's near the top of the MVP ladder right now, at least the last time I checked. But DeRozan's been doing this for a while. A lot of people just don't know because he played on the Raptors, and American media never gives the Raptors or their stars any love. And then he also played on the Spurs, which nobody cared about, ever since he was traded there. And so y'all, in this video, I'm just gonna go over and appreciate the underrated career of DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan was drafted 9th overall by the Toronto Raptors in the 2009 NBA draft. In his first season, playing alongside star Chris Bosh and a first overall pick in his third season, Andrea Bargnani, DeRozan started 65 games and averaged 8.6 points on 49% shooting. By the way, I'm not ever going to mention his 3-point stats because everybody knows DeRozan is not a 3-point shooter. DeRozan helped the Raptors go from a 13th seed with a record of 33-49 to a 9th seed with a record of 40-42, just missing the playoffs. Unfortunately, after the 2010 season, Chris Bosh left for Miami, leaving DeRozan and Bargnani by themselves. The 2011 Raptors ended up with the third worst record in the league at 22-60, but DeRozan individually had a great sophomore season, starting all 82 games and averaging 17 points and 3.8 rebounds on 46% shooting. With the 5th overall pick in that draft, the Raptors drafted Jonas Valanciunas, who was a key contributor for them in the future. In the shortened 2012 season, DeRozan took a slight step back, dropping his averages to 16.7 points and 3 rebounds on 42% shooting. This year, the Raptors finished with a record of 23-43, the 11th best record in the conference. But y'all, on July 11th, 2012, the Raptors made a trade that would have a ginormous impact on DeRozan and the Raptors franchise. The Raptors traded Gary Forbes and a first-round pick to the Houston Rockets for point guard Kyle Lowry. Despite trading for Lowry and later Rudy Gay, the 2013 season was another tough season for the Raptors. They finished 34-48, the 10th best record in the Eastern Conference. DeRozan bounced back though, averaging 18 points a game, 2.5 assists, and 3.9 rebounds on 44% shooting. Late in the 2013 season, Masai Ujiri became the general manager of the Toronto Raptors, another important move for the franchise. Then, in that same offseason, the Raptors traded their former first overall pick, Andrea Bargnani, to the New York Knicks. That left the Raptors with a trio of DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, and Rudy Gay to try and make the playoffs the next season. The Raptors started the 2014 season 6-12, which led them to trade Rudy Gay to the Sacramento Kings. But then Lowry and DeRozan, realizing they could be next, decided to turn it on. The Raptors went 10-2 right after the trade, and ended up finishing the season 48-34, the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, making the playoffs for the first time since 2008. DeRozan averaged 22 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds on 42% shooting, earning his first All-Star appearance. In the first round of the playoffs, the Raptors would go up against Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, and the 6th-seeded Brooklyn Nets. Unfortunately, the Raptors would lose a hard-fought series in 7 games, losing Game 7 at home by 1 point. In his first playoff series, DeRozan averaged 23.9 points, 3.6 assists, and 4.1 rebounds on 38% shooting. Despite the tough percentage, DeRozan still had a great first playoff series, leading his team in scoring, and he had a few clutch moments. In the 2015 season, the Raptors finished 1 game better, 49-33, for 4th in the Eastern Conference this year. DeRozan missed 22 games due to injury. However, when he did play, he averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 41% shooting. In the first round of the playoffs, they faced John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Paul Pierce again on the 5th-seeded Washington Wizards. Unfortunately though, in a ginormous step back from the year before, the Raptors were swept. In the 4 games, DeRozan once again led the team in scoring, averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, however, only on 40% shooting. The next season, the Raptors were determined to bounce back, and they did, having a franchise-best 56 wins and finishing second in the Eastern Conference. DeRozan averaged 23 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists on 44% shooting, being named an All-Star for the second time in his career. However, after losing as the higher seed in back-to-back first rounds, it was time for the Raptors to prove themselves in the playoffs. In the first round, the Raptors faced Paul George and the 7th-seeded Indiana Pacers, and for the first time since 2001, they beat the Pacers, winning a playoff series for the first time since 2001 in 7 games. For the series, DeRozan averaged only 17.9 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists on 31% shooting. However, DeRozan was great in a Game 5 comeback where he had 34 points on 45% shooting, and then in the closeout Game 7, he had a game-high 30 points, with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. In the second round, the Raptors faced Dwayne Wade, Goran Dragic, and the 3rd-seed Miami Heat, and also beat them in a hard-fought 7-game series to go to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time in franchise history. In this series, DeRozan once again struggled shooting as he finished averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, but on just 38% shooting. However, he did have a game-high 34 points on 45% shooting in the pivotal Game 5, and had 28 points and 8 rebounds in the closeout Game 7. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Raptors faced the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Despite tying the series at 2 after going down 2-0, the Raptors would end up losing in 6 games, ending the best season in franchise history to that point. For the series, DeRozan averaged 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 50% shooting. Statistically, it was his best series, even though for the whole series, only 1 game was close, and that was Game 4, where he had 32 points on 60% shooting, and then the 26-point elimination game loss, DeRozan finished with 20 points on 50% shooting. For the whole 2016 playoffs, DeRozan averaged 20.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 2.7 assists on 39% shooting. However, he did help lead the Raptors to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. So, that summer, DeRozan was awarded with a 5-year, $139 million extension. In the 2017 season, the Raptors went 51-31, finishing 3rd in the Eastern Conference, making the playoffs for the 4th year in a row. This season, DeRozan went crazy, averaging a career-high 27.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists on 46% shooting, once again making the All-Star team and, for the first time in his career, making the All-NBA team. In the first round of the playoffs, the Raptors played the 6th-seeded Milwaukee Bucks and beat them in 6 games. In that series, DeMar DeRozan averaged 23.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 43% shooting. In Game 6 to close out the series, he had 32 points on 50% shooting. But then in the second round, the Raptors played the defending champion Cavaliers again, and this time they were swept. In this series, DeRozan averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists on 42% shooting. In Game 4, he had 22 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds on 44% shooting. In the next season, the Raptors have the best regular season in franchise history, going 59-23 for the #1 record in the Eastern Conference. DeRozan has another good year, averaging 23 points, 5 assists, 3.9 rebounds on 45% shooting. Once again an All-Star, and this season on the All-NBA second team. But at this point, it's not about regular season success for the Raptors anymore, it's about playoff success. In the first round, they faced the 8th-seeded Washington Wizards and beat them in 6 games. DeRozan averaged 26.7 points, 4.8 assists, 3.3 rebounds on 43% shooting. But then in the second round, the Raptors faced a team that's completely demolished them the past 2 postseasons. LeBron James and the defending conference champions Cleveland Cavaliers. The Raptors were swept yet again in what turned out to be DeRozan's last playoff series as a Raptor. For the series, DeRozan averaged just 16.8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 43% shooting. In games 1 and 2, he didn't play that bad, but in game 3, he had just 8 points on 3 for 12 shooting, and he ended up being benched in the 4th quarter as the Raptors actually completed a 4th quarter comeback before LeBron ended it with the buzzer beater. Then in game 4, he finished with 13 points on 5 of 11 shooting as the Raptors got swept for the 2nd year in a row. On July 18, 2018, out of nowhere, the Raptors traded DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 1st round pick to the San Antonio Spurs for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. Just like that, his career with the Raptors was over. In his first season with the Spurs though, playing alongside LaMarcus Aldridge, he played well, averaging 21 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds on 48% shooting. He helped the Spurs finish 48-34, 7th in the Western Conference. In the first round, the Spurs played the 2nd-seeded Denver Nuggets and lost in 7 games. DeRozan had arguably his best playoff series, averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 48% shooting. However, in Game 7, he had just 19 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds on 33% shooting. In 2020, the Spurs finished 32-39, 11th in the Western Conference. They were invited to the bubble, but they could not make the play-in. DeRozan averaged 22 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds on 53% shooting. Then in 2021, he averaged 21 points, almost 7 assists, 4 rebounds on 49% shooting. The Spurs finished 33-39, making the 9-10 play-in game, but losing to the Memphis Grizzlies. In the play-in game, DeRozan had just 20 points on 5 for 21 shooting, in what turned out to be his last game as a member of the Spurs. Then y'all, this past offseason, DeRozan signed a 3-year, $81.9 million contract with the Chicago Bulls. He joined Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and Lonzo Ball, who also signed in free agency, and so far y'all, they are doing great. They're one of the top teams in the East, and DeRozan is arguably playing the best basketball of his career. As I'm recording this, he's averaging 26 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds on 48% shooting, and he's getting the praise he deserves, which is lovely to see. DeRozan is a great scorer who can create his own shot in the mid-range, and it's cash almost every single time. He's also become a much better playmaker recently, and that's great. He has this reputation as a playoff choker or playoff underperformer, and while he's had some bad games like everyone, and he's had some bad series, he has had some clutch moments, and he also lost to LeBron for 3 straight years. Certain other players get a pass for losing to a much better team. Why can't DeRozan get that same pass? And so, he's not the perfect playoff performer, but I think him choking is a little exaggerated sometimes. I think this year he'll be great for the Bulls in the playoffs. I personally am excited to see how far the Bulls will go, because I think they have potential to go real far. But anyway y'all, I just wanted to make this video to recap the underrated career of DeMar DeRozan. He is a great player who has, been on great teams led by him. He's led his team to a top seed in the regular season. He's led his team to a conference final. And now he's leading the Bulls with LaVine and Lonzo, and they're doing great, and I think they're going to do great in the playoffs as well. So y'all, just appreciate DeMar DeRozan, because he's been underrated for a while, and, appreciate him because he's great, and I'm so glad that, now more people are seeing this greatness. But anyway y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later.